breaking news and trending talk with Mike and McCarty. Mornings on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Mike and McCarty on the Jack Spring Electric Newsmaker Hotline this morning. Shreveport Mayor Tom Arsenault joining us. Mayor, first of all, good morning. Happy Thursday.
Good morning and happy Thursday to you.
Well, we had another huge fire at the Jolie Apartments. What's the status on the emergency declaration, the emergency orders?
Well, Jolie is under the control of a receiver or keeper, and that was appointed through the lender in a foreclosure proceeding. And so we have all the authority that we need without them being under the emergency order. So when I extended the emergency order, I did not include Jolie because we didn't need it, because we now have cooperation from the person in control of the apartments.
But apparently, are there still squatters there? Is that what caused? Do we know what caused the fire?
No, I don't. I don't know what caused the fire. I woke up to the report this morning.
What other complexes remain under an emergency order?
The other three, I think, are all the Amar Shreveport Holdings complexes.
Okay, and they are that owner is facing criminal blight charges. Am I accurate?
That's correct.
And that court hearing has been delayed, I believe, until next month, and you're moving forward aggressively. Okay.
It is in September, right.
Okay. What is the status of any demos at some of these complexes? I know it's a legal process. You got to move through all that. Are we going to see a wrecking ball at any of these anytime soon?
I'm not sure about that, because we're the lenders that have taken control of Oak Meadows and Jolie are foreclosing, and so we're hopeful to have new owners who will do something with those buildings and save the city literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in demolition charges. And there was an online auction of the Amar Shreveport properties that ended yesterday, so I'm planning to contact the auctioneer to see what the result is there, to find out what our next step is.
So that was all three of them? You could buy all three, or could you piecemeal it?
There are four. There are four. No, I believe it was a package deal.
Wow. And so we don't know yet if anybody bid.
I don't. The online auction ended yesterday, and I have a tickler on my file to call the real estate company that was handling the auction this morning.
Ah, okay. Well, please follow up with us on that.
Sure.
You said three of the complexes were under emergency order. Explain for those of us that might have gone to Northwood, the emergency order, why it was needed, and what it does for the city.
Well, the main thing it does is because those are uninhabitable, we wanted to make sure that we were able to post, and that because we didn't have an owner or anyone in control of those apartments that was saying, please patrol and please get rid of anybody who's squatting in there. Because we didn't have that, I felt like the emergency order would give us that power, and that's why we put them under the emergency order. Where we have been dealing with either an owner, and really there are none of these that we're dealing with an owner, or a lender, a mortgage holder who was in the foreclosure process and had appointed a keeper or receiver for the apartments, that gave someone the power to ask us to do the things that we were doing under the emergency order.
With this auction that we're going to follow up on, if someone did come in and made a bid and bought all these, I would assume you, as a responsible mayor and leader of the city, would then, sit down with those folks and give them a little time to kind of map out a plan, and rather than go in and start demo. So you want to work with whoever is putting their cash up, huh?
Yeah, when we appropriated the money, when the council appropriated the money for these demolitions, it's like $800,000. So I would much prefer to use that money on something else but we do need they are eyesores, and we need to make sure that they are taken care of. So I'm hoping to be able to work with the lenders or the new owners to accomplish either demolition of the units that need to be demolished, but also hopefully a restoration of the units that don't need to be demolished.
Mayor, I know you've been knee-deep in this for a while now. Do we need some new laws in place to deal with these out-of-state irresponsible owners? Could you have used help on that front that would have made this easier to deal with?
Well, all of these are entities that are, qualified to do business in the state. It's a very complicated issue, and we don't, I believe it would probably be unconstitutional for us to say if you're out of state, you can't own real estate in the state of Louisiana. It would require a state law for sure, and I don't think it would be constitutional. So we have to deal with it as we deal with it.
Shreveport Mayor Tom Arsenault, can you hold with us through the break? I want to talk to you about Shreveport water.
Okay.
Mayor Tom Arsenault with Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. We'll be back right after the break.
Back with more of Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Shreveport Mayor Tom Arsenault on the Jack Spring Electric Newsmaker Hotline. Mayor, we know William Daniel recently addressed the city council saying, well, this issue with Shreveport water has been very difficult, even more difficult than imagined. What's the latest on our response to cloudy water and manganese?
It is the summer of manganese, and we have been daily trying to get on top of it. The biggest issue is the manganese keeps changing on us. The level of manganese keeps changing on us. I think it was at 0.9 yesterday, which is up. We're trying to get it under 0.5. And what they discovered is that the older way we were treating it was more successful with chlorine dioxide. And our chlorine dioxide units are very old because that's not how we were treating the water. So we authorized yesterday the acquisition of a rental chlorine dioxide apparatus to treat the water, and then we also authorized a $150,000 purchase of a unit. So hopefully we'll get those online as quickly as possible, and that will give us some additional assistance to solve this issue.
Well, apparently we need to get 50 Cent in here to get it, because he he gets stuff done.
Well, he does, and I'm afraid I'm just the lawyer, and Mr. Daniel is the engineer, and I have trust and confidence in Mr. Daniel to do the work. As you may have heard, he is quite frustrated with this because he's been the guy that's been able to solve problems all his life, and this one has been a real challenge, and we regret the continuing problem, but we're putting every resource we know into it to try and resolve.
This has been his Moby Dick, that's for sure.
How much will the rental of the unit cost, and how much is the purchase?
The rental is $10,000 a month, and the purchase is $150,000.
Wow! So you got a pile of gold buried somewhere, or we're going to move it from some? I know. We got a tight budget, huh?
Well, we have a tight budget. This is of course, coming out of the Water and Sewer Enterprise Fund, which itself is a tight budget, but we have a little bit more flexibility in that fund than we do in the general fund.
So we're planning on renting first?
Well, yeah, because it'll take a while to get the unit in here, and we don't want to wait till it was there. We have an immediate problem, so we needed an immediate solution.
I'm sure when you ran for mayor, I don't think anyone asked you a question of about what are you going to do about manganese? What do you know about manganese? And now, how much do you know about manganese, Mayor Arsenault?
Yeah.
Well, more than I wish I did, but. What I will say is that one of the great things about this job is that I get to learn about a lot of things that I didn't know I was going to get to learn about.
fast.
And quickly, yes.
What's the solution? What's the answer to people who say, how come one neighborhood it's fine and one neighborhood it's brown today and tomorrow it's fine? Is there any explanation for that?
The only explanation that we've come up with is that most of the areas where it is the most discoloration happens are areas of relatively low water usage. And so what I think has happened, and what we believe has happened, is that we have miles and miles of water pipes. And so we have miles and miles of water that was affected by the manganese, and some of it simply has not gone through the system. What we have been doing about that is flushing in various neighborhoods. So it is very important that people contact our customer service and let us know. And frankly, if they're not able to get through, and I understand that we've had a huge number of calls as we would expect about this and other issues, and the customer service people handle both of those, all of the issues with customer service. So they may want to. I'll just say you can email mayor@shreveportla.gov.
Mayor, we know this has been an ongoing issue. What are we doing? Are we implementing anything to deal with this for the long term? The first thing we're trying to do is figure out what the issue was. We've had a very unusual weather pattern this year, and we think that may have something to do with it. If the manganese level had gone up and stayed up, then we would have thought, well, there's an incident that has occurred. But the other thing that's happening is it fluctuates. It fluctuates on a daily basis, and so that makes it a little bit more difficult to figure out what it is that's causing it, and if we can discover what's causing it, if it's an unusual event, that's one thing. If we don't think that it's due to any particular man-made activity, but we haven't foreclosed any possible theory as to how this occurred. Are we reaching out to other municipalities that are having the same issue to see how they're dealing with it?
Oh, yes. I don't believe there's been any stone left unturned. We have a very diligent water and sewer staff, particularly the upper management, Mr. Daniel, Brandon Sneed. They're doing everything that they know to do. They have reached out to other communities to find out. I think Mr. Daniel mentioned that at the council this week, he mentioned that in some instances where you have smaller communities, it's easier to deal with. There are more effective ways to deal with it short term. But there's been an increase in manganese across North Louisiana. Basically, that's what he reported in terms of his discussions with the Louisiana Department of Health. One thing very important, that water is tested every day. If the Louisiana Department of Health believed that the water was unsafe to drink, they would certainly make us take some other actions and issue boil orders. And that has not occurred. So the water is safe to drink.
Is it true that manganese originates in Russia? That's
must be there or China.
Yeah.
One or the other. Now, it apparently is one of the most plentiful minerals on Earth. So it's around everywhere. It's just that we've had an increase in it in our lake, and we're not quite sure why. Okay,
one last thing. You're hearing it. You're seeing it. I'm paying you for nice, beautiful, clear water. That's not what I'm getting. So I want a rebate on my bill. Is that coming?
That's not coming.
I kind of knew that's what you were going to say.
No hesitation there?
Sorry.
I had to ask,
Well, and well, anyway, I wish we had the funds to do that and a mechanism to figure out how to do it, but we don't.
Mayor, thank you so much. We appreciate you answering the tough questions.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on.
You bet.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Mike and McCarty.
Back to the show with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Well, Shreveport Bird graduate makes good. Faith Jenkins, host of Oxygen's Killer Relationships, going into its third season, which, by the way, kicks off this Saturday. She'll join us coming up just after the break. Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710keel.com.
More breaking news and trending talk with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Well, I'm glad we finally got Faith Jenkins on the phone because Erin has been excited all morning.
You don't know.
I know. I do know. The host of Killer Relationships on Oxygen, Judge Faith Jenkins. Faith, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm a monster fan. I have been recording the show since you started it, so I'm going to be fangirling you. I hope you don't mind.
Oh, awesome. I love to hear that. You are a true crime fan.
Yes, I absolutely am. And the new season. First, let's give you a little background. You're a CE Bird graduate. I have two sons that are Bird graduates. Ryan Williams just reached out and said to tell you hello. He teaches at Bird now. Wonderful. And you're going to be honored next year in the Centennial Hall of Fame class of Bird High School. You're local, but you made it big time. I'm excited for you. Tell us a little bit about how you moved from Shreveport and Bird High to what I consider a monster international celebrity.
Oh, well, I don't know about all that, but I am excited to come back for the Centennial celebration next year. I'm glad that you brought that up because they just announced that. Born and raised in Shreveport, grew up there. I think what really changed my life the most and moved me into a new direction in being on stage in the media was winning the Miss Louisiana Tech University title when I was there in school and competing in Miss Louisiana. The first time I was on a national stage was Miss America. And after that, I just sort of knew that I was probably going to do something that combined my real passion for law and also media. But it didn't happen right away. I moved to New York and I worked for 8 years for a law firm and then been in the Manhattan DA's office before I started doing television. You did the
Judge Faith show, divorce court. You've done a lot of things. I think you have settled into. I really am a big fan. This is your
She's
third.
Not kidding.
Your third season. And when's the new episodes? When do they hit?
So this Saturday night, this is our third season. I appreciate your support throughout the years. This is our third season of Killer Relationship. This Saturday night, 8 p.m. on Oxygen. And this show is one that I'm really passionate about because I combined my experience in prosecuting crime and also handling domestic violence cases with my experience in family court, handling divorces and child custody and child visitation into this show, which really does explore people's relationships, something that we can all relate to because we all have relationships in one way or another. But the show really takes a turn because most of us know how to walk away in a somewhat healthy way when a relationship ends for whatever reason. But in these cases, people don't. And someone dies, and we want to know why. Mm-hmm. We want to know why a high school teacher kills. We want to know why a seemingly loving husband sets his wife up to be killed. We want to know the reasons, the secrets, the decisions, the choices, the consequences, why this happens in relationships that are supposed to be built on love and trust.
Faith Jenkins, where do you get these? I mean, obviously, they're true stories, but how do you come across these stories of these true crimes?
We do a lot of research. There's an entire research team behind the show that works behind the scenes for months, researching cases and reaching out to family members. Something that I want listeners to know is that we don't do any cases where we don't have the blessings from the family. We want the person, the victim of the crime, we want their legacy to not just be their murder. We want their legacy to be how they lived their life. And so that's why you have so many interviews from family and friends, because they understand that very important aspect of the show, and they feel the same way. So they want to share their stories. They want to get the word out there, and they want them to be memorialized in a greater way that's just not about how they died, but also how they lived.
The Saturday night episode focuses, I believe, on a pregnant woman who is killed. Am I right?
Yes, that is correct.
And what state is this case from? Do you have all that in front of you? I'm sure you do.
Well, this story, I'm glad you asked that, because this is the only case, this series, the crime does not take place in the U.S. It took place in Canada.
Ah, okay.
And when you watch the end of this first episode, you will really see the difference, I think, in the law and the way the law was applied in the end. And you can make a decision on whether you think justice was really served in the case. It's a real whodunit. I was watching the cases again last night, just ahead of, because when you have so many of them, I wanted to watch again and just get a sense of the stories, that how we were unfolding the stories this season. And it's a lot of twists and turns. And again, I think that people will want to know why. And I think that we did a good job this season of answering the why from the perspective of at least from the perspective of the killer. The reason, and then there's this question of, what is the price you pay for taking someone's life, and how that price can be very different depending on where you live.
Faith Jenkins, how far back do your stories go? I remember there was a case in Shreveport that goes back to like 1980 where a doctor killed his wife with a sledgehammer. It was pretty a tremendous case. How far back do your stories go?
It just depends. We do have some cold cases that the investigators were able to solve. A lot of our cases are more recent. And so it just depends on the story. We want cases where they were solved and there's still evidence that we can look at, because we'd like to take the viewers through the different types of investigation that happen, whether it's DNA testing or phone records or tracking. As the years have progressed, technology has allowed investigators to have a lot more tools that they can use now. And that's really fascinating to me, and I think to a lot of viewers. So we do tap into a lot more recent cases because of that, because of the tools that people are able to see, investigators use. And that's another really, I think, great part of the show is people are able to just be armchair investigators themselves and walk through how these cases are solved in the end.
Do you get back to Shreveport very often? You have family here you want to shout out this morning?
I do. I have my sisters, Mary and Nicole, are there. Nicole's actually driving my niece down to LSU in Baton Rouge today. She's starting college. And my mom is still there. And I do get back to Shreveport, especially now having my daughter who's 18 months old. I try to come back more often. So I live in Los Angeles, my husband and I, but I do try to come back more often now when you have a baby. My husband always says she can start moving back closer to home because of that family. But I want her to visit her cousins and her nieces and nephews and really get to know them as she grows up. So I have been coming home a lot more often since she was born last year.
Well, there's a lot of things happening in Shreveport. Curtis Jackson is making a lot of investment in the community. What do you miss most? What do you miss most about home?
My husband, when he visits, he's from D.C., but he's lived in L.A. for over 20 years, and he always says when he comes to Shreveport how nice the people are and how welcoming the people are. He absolutely loves it there. And I think I miss the Southern hospitality the most.
Okay.
And so we love visiting. And I remember he was asked to introduce 50 Cent at one of the press conferences, but he wasn't in Shreveport at the time. So I think that we'll probably be getting more involved in some of the things that he's doing there as well.
It's exciting. I can't thank you enough. Let's do this again soon, please.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed the conversation.
Let us know when you come into town next time. We'd love to get you in studio with us.
That would be so fun. I definitely will do that.
Would love to do it. I'm a big fan. I really am. I'm not joking. I'm be watching Saturday night. Thank you, Faith.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Faith Jenkins, Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710keel.com.
Back to the big stories of the day with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
So we get a text, Ruben. Ruben gets the text. Somebody sideswipes your Bentley
Yeah.
on the interstate.
Yes.
And then they try to run.
They fled. Fled the scene. So if you were on I-20 eastbound yesterday about 11 a.m. and you saw my wreck, we're going to need you. I got the guy's license plate. We know who you are. They're coming for you, and they're going to impound your truck. I'm just telling you, that's what's going to happen to you.
Yeah, because that's several $1,000s worth of damage.
Oh, it's big time damage. It doesn't look it, but it's big. Raise your hand if you know someone in this room who will go after something until it is absolutely dead in the ground.
My hand is up, for sure.
I will come after you for the rest of your life for fleeing the scene of this wreck.
Well, do we say, Ruben, that she chased him? That she did
Yes.
she follow him?
Yes, she chased him.
She ran him down.
Yes, she ran him down. He wouldn't pull over. I'm flashing my lights at him. He won't pull. I get into Bossier, and I'm on the phone with 911, giving them the license plate number. And then when she realizes I'm in Bossier, she goes, okay, you can stop chasing him now. We know who it is. We got him. We're going to find him.
Ma'am, please don't kill this person, please.
Come back.
Come on back to Shreveport, and we'll send an officer where you are, and we'll file a report. And he's now committed a felony by fleeing the scene of an accident.
Right.
So he will probably lose his vehicle. It'll be impounded. We don't know. We'll find out. Are you hurt? Are you okay? Do you need an ambulance? I'm fine. I don't need an ambulance. I'm pissed is what I was.
I need a Valium. Give me a Valium.
Exactly what I needed. How did you know? I mean, he made me spill my beer while I was driving, for crying out loud. I'm joking. He's going to use that against me in court. See, I told you she was drinking while she was... I wasn't drinking while I was driving. But I'm thinking...
Not. It was, 9:10 in the morning. It was, I can tell you exactly when it was because I have the text.
I'll drink anytime, but not behind the wheel. Anyway, what I don't understand is, you hit me. Boom! We hear a loud boom. Thank God I didn't hit the inside wall. And and he slowed like he was going to stop. And I don't know if he looked and realized that she is in a pretty nice car. This is going to be costly. And then hauled ass. Ooh,
I got to pay for a Bentley.
And so that made me mad. The fact that he didn't pull over really ticked me off. And so I hauled butt following him, and I get in the plate.
There's always a reason why they run. Either he didn't have insurance, he already had warrants out, or he had dope in the car.
Yeah.
Or he was drunk.
It could be all of the above is the problem.
Maybe,
so
yeah.
we thankfully I'm not hurt. I'm okay. I do have a little.
Hopefully he had insurance.
I do. Does anybody do massages in here?
In here? No.
Yeah, no. I do have a little bit of a stiff neck I'm feeling, but that's, just the jolt, and I'll be fine. I'm okay, but oh man, I was so upset. People that do that make me so mad. You're so irresponsible, and that's why our insurance rates are crazy high like they are.
There you go.
100%.
Just ticks me off. I'll calm down. You got another Valium?
I got another, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Bossier City Council continuing their clown car, speaking of. Chris Smith, the Bossier Councilman, joining us coming up just after the local news. 101.7 FM, 710keel.com, and on that free KEEL app. Bossier City Councilman Chris Smith on the Jack Spring Electric Newsmaker Hotline. Chris, good morning. Thanks for talking with us.
Hey, good morning. How are you doing?
We're doing great. Friday Eve.
Got our popcorn out?
Yeah. We are ready. Chris, this has been just this side of phenomenal. Bossier City Mayor Tommy Chandler wants to disband the existing Charter Review Commission. Bossier Council voted 5-2 not to. They also voted not to put term limits on the ballot, even though the voters apparently seem to want term limits on the ballot. Where are we now? What say you, sir?
Yeah, so interesting times we're having right now as it comes to these issues. Charter Commission looks like it is going to go ahead and proceed with its work since the disbandment of that failed. So looks like we're going to move forward with the Charter Review Commission. I know they have a few members that have resigned from that committee. So they're going to have an issue. First issue they're going to have to tackle is getting new members, and hopefully they'll be able to get a quorum to be able to go ahead and finish their work since we voted to let that continue.
Now, they already voted on a couple of things. One was to move term limits forward to the council, but it's kind of stalled at the council. Does that committee have to revisit the term limit deal since there were several of them absent there? I don't understand what they're going to do with that now, because as I understand it, they already voted on that.
Yeah, so they did, and that's been a bit of center of controversy too. Is was the vote taken appropriate? There are ethics complaints have been levied against certain members of the commission as well. So legal advice has been given that, hey, maybe any votes, if those ethics complaints are upheld, any votes that those people took may be invalidated, and term limits being one of them. So I personally think the Charter Commission should wait until the results of these ethics investigations to conclude and see what the results are to see if they need to nominate all new members. Who knows? They may need all 9 new members when this is all said and done. So I think they need to wait, because anything they do is just rushing.
You say we need 9 new members. These members are appointed by mostly by city council members. Should there be a new process to assign Charter Review Commission members?
Absolutely. I think that, unfortunately, the only way to do that is through the Charter Review Commission. We have to amend the current charter to do it. So it's a wacky world we live in, and the Charter Review Commission process, it's a good process. It's the city councilmen are supposed to be real hands off. We put our initial appointments up. We tell the commission what we're looking for, and then from there we let them do their work. Unfortunately, what we found ourselves in this particular commission is it got way too political, and it's now dysfunctional, and it's not getting anything done.
Well, it seems like there are some commission members that are just puppets for city council members.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's kind of the expectation, right? When you go into it, that you have a city council member appointing somebody, you have to assume that city council member is telling their appointment what they want and kind of helping them push a narrative. And so I like your idea that you mentioned earlier. Maybe there should be a different process. Maybe city council members should have no say in the charter process and let it be truly independent. I'd be okay with that, because, like I said, this commission's got wildly political, and it needs to change.
Let me ask you this, just to be fair. Your appointee to the commission, did you have discussions with that person about term limits ahead of time?
Yeah, absolutely, I did, and I don't think that's any secret, and that's probably why I have been a target for much criticism and retribution from those that oppose term limits, because, yes, I absolutely said that this is a goal of mine. I want to see term limits pushed through, and I hope that you will help usher that. And it has caused me a lot of grief from people that are opposed to term limits. So, and
you expect that other council members did the same with their appointees?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, where are we on term limits? Y'all voted it down again. You're going to get sued. You're going to cost the city of Bossier could be, huge piles of money to defend a lawsuit that you probably will lose. You got stuff you need to pay for in Bossier. Is this going to be a waste of tax dollars?
Not only a waste of tax dollars, but it's a waste of time, quite frankly. We have so much other things that we need to be focusing on. And Bossier City has been consumed with this idea of term limits for 2 years. And really longer if you go back to the campaigns of 2021. It was a key issue in the 2021 campaign. So we've been dealing with this issue for a long time. We've got to put it behind us. We got to put it in our rearview mirror, settle it one way or another. Yes, the council failed to pass it. In my humble opinion, I voted for it. In my opinion, we violated the charter by not passing it because the charter is very clear. I fully expect the Term Limits Coalition to file a writ of mandamus, which is a lawsuit mandating the city to act the way it should act. And I fully expect that the city will lose that and that we will have to send this to the bond commission and get it put on the ballot. Unfortunately, it's going to cost us money. It's going to cost us time. And think of the potholes that we could fill. Think of the things we could add to our parks. Think of pay raises that we could give to city employees with all this
police and
money.
Fire gear.
There's just so much that we can do. And so whenever you have a lawsuit that's preventable and completely unnecessary and the city chooses to get into that, voters ought to remember that. And we have an election coming up in a couple months. And if we don't have term limits as a policy in Bossier City, I can almost guarantee that the voters of Bossier City are going to enact their own term limits in March of 2025.
You're now within about 10 days, I believe, of that 30-day deadline to get the term limits issued to the ballot. Do you anticipate there being a special meeting between now and then? Has anybody talked about trying one more vote before you get sued?
No, I don't think it's going to happen. Look, I think that the majority of the council has accepted that at some point in time, term limits are going to come to Bossier City. I think that reality has been accepted. What we discovered Tuesday in a lot of the conversations is that those now opposing it again are opposing the language that these petitioners put in there. And I'd like to remind everybody.
Making it retroactive is what you're referring to, right?
Yes, making it retroactive. And, I'd like to remind everybody, again, this was a key component of the 2021 elections. We had several council members and an incumbent mayor lose based around the idea of term limits. We had 3 years to do term limits the city council's way. We could have done it our way. We chose not to. We chose to let the petitioners go out and do this themselves. And quite frankly, I think a majority of the council did not believe they'd actually collect enough signatures and get this far. And so this is the country we live in. That is the beauty of America. We're allowed to petition our government and have a say in how we want our government to be constructed. And so we deserve to, or the people deserve for us to put this on the ballot and let them have their say. And it's unfortunately, or fortunately, however you look at it, whatever side of the aisle you fall on, that's how America is, and that's how Bossier City's charter is.
Well, it appears, Chris Smith, Bossier City Councilman, that what's happening is those who are opposing term limits are just doing whatever they can to stall and make sure they get at least 4 more years.
Qualifying for the March election is going to be in January of 2025. If the last date to be on the bond commission's agenda for December is in September. So if it can just be delayed a few more weeks, it misses the December deadline, and then we'll pick up the issue 4 years from then. So,
like you said,
100%.
Voters need to remember this in the upcoming election.
Yeah, there's going to be 7 council members and a mayor candidate coming to your door over the next couple months asking for your vote in March of 2025. And I would encourage everybody, ask those candidates, where were you when the city was getting sued? What side of the vote were you on that? Where are you on term limits? And ask them the tough questions. Don't just say, yes, you're a great guy and I like you and I've known you my whole life, so I'm giving you my vote. Make them earn your vote.
Yeah.
I plan on going door to door and making sure that I earn every vote of every citizen that's going to vote for me.
Bossier City Councilman Chris Smith. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Y'all have a good afternoon.
Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
Now,
Back with more of Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
All right, last night, it was yesterday afternoon.
you're so lucky.
We did. We rode the bike down because parking is much easier downtown when you're on the bike.
Oh, sure.
I just pull up on the sidewalk right in front of the door. I blocked the door.
Block the door. I figured you drove it inside.
Yeah, hold the door open. I'm pulling in. No, they do it. They have motorcycle parking downtown, which is very cool.
Oh, that's
cool. They have
cool.
some spaces allocated for bikes. Mm-hmm. But we went to the Robinson. They had the screening for E.T. with Henry Thomas and Dee Wallace.
Oh, cool.
Who, by the way, are absolutely lovely people.
That is so great when you hear that about celebrities.
Both of them were they couldn't have been nicer.
Oh.
I mean, because, come on. You know, they're like, you know, coming to a theater, I don't know. I can see where somebody would go, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, let me just do the GeeksCon event. I don't want to do this extra stuff. But you know what's funny?
Didn't get that at all
when they
from
booked,
either one of them.
When they booked Dee Thomas to do the Robinson, Dee Wallace, excuse me, Henry Thomas has called and said, what about me?
Yeah.
Me too. And I'm like, that's the kind of people you love.
He seems very shy to me.
Oh, wow.
He even my wife goes, he doesn't look real comfortable, you know?
Oh, man.
So I think he's really shy.
Yeah.
So for him to come out and to interact with people and the meet and greet, which was at 5:00 upstairs at the Robinson, wasn't a ton of people in the room. It was a VIP event, you know,
Right,
and I think the tickets were, I don't know how much they were, but it was, you know, not just anybody could walk in.
Sure.
But everybody was well behaved, respectful, you know, and they were just as gracious and open as they can be. It was a very lovely event.
I have been hesitant to say this to you guys about this movie, but I'm going to say it today because I keep this kind of private. That is like in my top 3 movies of all time. And the reason, and so I'm very jealous and I'm almost getting teary-eyed because in most of my, Ruben may know this, in most of my passwords that I use for everything in my life.
Hold on. Settle down.
I know. I'm not going to say, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say the details because I know that there'll be there is a version of E.T. in my password. In all of the things I use, there's some version of E.T. Phone home, some line from the movie is in most of my passwords. And I haven't said that to you because of the password issue thing.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that movie meant so much to me that I know.
Why were you there last night?
Because I got plowed into on the freeway. But no, I couldn't make it. I had another event I had to be at. But I was I'd already committed and I hated that. But I'm a real fan. I'm afraid I would really.
Well, my kids.
I would hug him and I wouldn't let him go.
My kids.
And the police
grew
would
up.
get called.
You know, they grew up on that film.
Yes.
And so I sent both of them pictures. You know, I was like, and Dina, I can't tell you how many times she goes, I wish Casey were here.
Oh my gosh! I know.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because that would have meant so much.
And I mean, that's my generation's huge movie. That was the first huge movie, and then it was Jurassic Park after that. And think of how many years are in between those.
Oh gosh!
Like,
Yeah,
I got
and I'll show you pictures, but they were both so
very nice.
It's a stunning movie.
It's great.
It's stunning from beginning to end. Emotional. Loving, tugging on the heartstrings and all that. Did you get a lot of Reese's Pieces? You couldn't eat them though, could you?
I didn't see any in there.
Really?
Honestly, they had some food that was very, very nice, very good.
Oh, cool.
I didn't even notice, and some wine and beers and things like that.
The Robinson, if you've never been, take a minute and go down there and catch a movie. Go out and eat up on the balcony. It is absolutely.
My wife, when Dee Wallace was kind of talking and moving around, and Rick called her up, and they were, and my wife goes, "Who is she?" And I said, "She played the mom. Henry was she goes,
Yes.
"Oh, she looks fabulous."
Yes.
She really does.
She really does.
It's like she hasn't, she just looks great.
Oh, my gosh.
Dina goes, "Oh, my gosh, she was in that 40-year-old movie, you know."
Yeah, that movie is, and you're going to be able to meet them. They're going to be at GeekCon. It opens today, 5:00.
Yes.
Runs through Sunday. It's going to be the events that folks on Monday are going to go, did you see this? Did you see that? Did you do this?
And I'm telling you, they couldn't have been nicer.
Oh, that's incredible.
When Rainn Wilson, and I may have said this, when Rainn Wilson was here shooting that Super, what was it?
Oh,
Hero or something.
Yeah, I think it was just called Super.
Mm-hmm.
He had to they were in the middle of shooting, and he had to take a phone call, so he runs next door to the office next door, and I'm not going to mention any names, but I know the people in the office.
Okay.
And he was between takes doing this phone call, and then he had to run back. Well, everybody in the office was like, can we get pictures? Can we get up?
Oh, sure.
And he's like, I can't, I'm going to. So they're all like, well, he's an ass.
Right.
He was rude. Mm-hmm. He's an ass. The guy was at work.
Yeah.
Can you imagine you're doing a big presentation to a client and somebody comes up to you and goes, let me ask you a question.
Right. You're in the middle of stuff. I can't do it now.
So anyway, they were very nice.
I'm just hoping I don't grab him and not let him go, and then I get arrested. I'm hoping.
Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710keel.com.
To the show with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
By the way, at the Robinson, when we walked in, my wife and I walked in, I guess it was just a little after 5, because the meet and greet started at 5. And a young man and his wife came up and said, oh, there's the celebrity that I wanted to meet. And I laughed.
Oh, my, that's cool.
And I said, no, they're upstairs. And he goes, no, seriously. He goes, I listen to you and Aaron every morning.
Wow.
He goes, we're here. Lee Murphy, he's an optometrist here in town. He says, Lee Murphy, he says, I heard you and Aaron talking about it, and I wanted to come.
Oh, that's so cool.
So thank you so much.
Thanks
he and his lovely wife. Yeah,
you bet. Absolutely.
That was a treat.
You bet. No kidding.
I got a message on the Shreveport Security Systems message board. Elvis fan says, went to the E.T. movie and Q&A afterwards at the Robinson. It was great.
That's awesome.
I didn't stay for the film because we get up way too early.
It was going to go too late. Yeah.
It was. Yeah, so, but I did get a chance to talk with them a little bit before the.
I'm excited. They're going to be here all weekend, and you'll be able to meet them, get signed autographs, and take pictures with them, and it's just going to be so cool. It's going to be awesome.
I'm not a big celebrity follower. Who's dating who? Blah blah.
I keep up.
I don't care.
Right.
Quite frankly.
You're exactly right.
It doesn't affect my life. But Matthew Perry's death did kind of affect me. Mm-hmm. And they did make some arrests. I want to talk about that coming up after the break.
It's sad.
Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710keel.com. Okay.
Now more breaking news and trending talk with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Now, when I say Matthew Perry's death affected me, I don't mean I lost sleep and took, days off of work, but that was a show my daughter loved, and it was a show that we kind of shared, and it was such a tragic.
I know.
They found him face down in his
hot tub
in his apartment.
Now it looks like 2 doctors and others are going to be facing charges.
Yeah, Salvador Plasencia of Santa Monica and Mark Chavez of San Diego. And Aaron, they were texting each other, these 2 doctors. And one of them said, I wonder how much this moron will pay. Let's find out.
Oh, are you serious?
Yes. And they also said, by the way, delete all these texts to each other. Well, too late.
Golly.
Yeah. So Matthew Perry was nothing but a cash cow. Mm-hmm. Now, yes, he made the decision to do drugs. I'm not saying he's not culpable, but these doctors obviously, I don't know what kind of doctors they are. I don't know how legitimate they are, but obviously they can prescribe ketamine. And then he was getting it from some underworld woman known as the ketamine queen, Jasveen Sangha.
God, he was just 54. I
Yeah.
mean, that's too young. I don't know anything about ketamine. Do either of you?
I don't.
It's a dissociative anesthetic, meaning that instead of like where an opioid just kind of dulls you down, ketamine takes you almost out of your own body. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I saw one report where at one point he got 3 shots of it in one. I mean, that's like way over the edge.
He had to have
isn't
been
it?
catatonic.
Yeah.
I remember hearing an interview with him. He said he doesn't like watching the reruns of Friends because he goes, and if you watch, one season he's kind of bloated, he's overweight, and the next season he's real thin, and then he's back, he goes, I can tell where I was in my addiction through the seasons.
Right. Yeah.
And he says, and just seeing his physical appearance, he goes, I know where I was in my addiction, and it was very hard for him.
How does Rube? How does ketamine manifest itself? I mean, after you do you take is it a shot? I guess.
There's all kind. I'm not going to get into how, and obviously he was. I'm using air quotes here. He was getting his from a medical professional, a drug dealer with a degree, basically.
Right.
And so how it works is, yes, it does. People who are addicted to ketamine, they call it the K-hole, where you just kind of fall back and you're just completely disassociated with anything going on.
Catatonic-like?
It's kind of, and it's been described to me as it takes every little problem you have and puts it in a tiny little box until the ketamine wears off.
Wow.
And then the box is back big again, and you need more ketamine.
Yeah, and you need more ketamine.
In one of the reports, the ketamine queen, that he had apparently ordered so much in this one order from her that his assistant, I think, got for him. She included ketamine lollipops.
Oh, yeah.
At no charge.
Yeah, those became big in the rave scene in the 90s. So
how are you a doctor? You have gone to medical school?
Look at Michael Jackson.
It's Michael Jackson all over again.
This is not new.
So
I understand, but I just can't grasp that.
So in Hollywood, basically,
and the celebrities are paying cash.
Yes. In Hollywood, if you're a doctor and you play it a little fast and loose with the prescriptions, you get a reputation. And all the addicts, they all talk to one another. And eventually,
here's my guy.
The doctor gets to a point where he's having all these celebrities in, and he's like, I don't have to keep this practice open anymore. I can just go house to house, celebrity to celebrity, and write them prescriptions for a small fee.
Make bank.
And
it goes back to Elvis. Look at Elvis.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, this is not new.
You have a doctor on staff, essentially, who comes to you when you need him.
Right.
Wow.
And they're everywhere. And I mean, it's not just Hollywood. Those people are here too for the rich and everything like that. So they're drug dealers with a degree.
And they're not going to say no because they're getting $20,000 in cash in one sale.
And in some of the cases, they get to go hobnob with the celebrities when there's a big Michael Jackson party. Guess what? Conrad Murray gets invited.
Here's my doctor.
Where they're keeping the celebrities addicted to the drugs, they're becoming addicted to the lifestyle.
Here's my drug dealer. Like you say, my drug dealer with a medical degree.
Right.
Yeah. But to be found face down in a hot tub.
He
had to have a pool.
A pool.
He had to have, massive doses of ketamine in his system.
And the fact that he had been using as much as he had been using, it was a huge dose. Kind of like the propofol with Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
If he's using that every day, you build up a tolerance to it to the point where if you're doing so much where you're on a wire ready to fall off at any point.
But if you're a doctor, at what point is it your responsibility to be a human and go, hey, Matthew Perry, this is too much. You're going to kill yourself.
They don't care because they're calling him a moron in their texts. How much can we get out of him?
Yeah, money is the root of all evil. It turns them evil. They start getting all that money and it turns them crazy.
That is so sad.
To the point where all they're seeing is dollar signs. They're not even seeing a human life anymore.
That is really, really sad.
Same thing with street drug dealers. It's the exact same thing. A smack dealer, if he's addicted to that money, he'll sell smack to a pregnant woman.
Holy cow, Ruben.
They don't care.
No, of course not.
Where are humans today?
And their rationale is, it's not my problem.
They're going to get it from somewhere.
Yeah,
it might as well be for me.
Right.
That's
I hope the court system locks them up. Is what I hope.
Well, there were 5 arrested, including Matthew's almost 60-year-old live-in assistant.
Holy
Ridiculous.
Who was actually giving him the injections.
Wow.
Again,
So sad.
you're not going to say no. That's your gravy train.
Yeah.
Dude, this is not good for you. I can't do
I
it.
think there are people like us who would say, no, I'm going to go find another job. I'm not doing this. You're killing yourself, and I love you, and I'm not doing it.
If
I'll
you
go
fire
find
me,
another
then
job.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, call me if you ever need me, but I'm not doing this. Hate that.
Speaking of ketamine, Mike and Mark Mangum.
Jeez.
They're going to love me for that. They're going to smack me. Those are big boys, too. Twin Blends Photography and History Hunters, Northwest Louisiana History Hunters. Going to join us coming up after the news, top of the hour. Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.com.
Back with more of Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
I've seen these Instagram reels that, it's like when karma, hits immediately.
Oh, yeah.
And I had an incident on I-20 where this is years ago.
Mm-hmm.
This has not even been recent. I was heading over to have lunch with a buddy, and this guy was in the left lane in this old beater, small little kind of, Toyota, Nissan, I don't know what it was, a little small truck. And he wouldn't get over. Okay. Now, I don't care. I don't know. Just get over.
Right.
It's not personal.
Exactly.
People are just trying to get down the road. Mm-hmm. So I finally get a position and I go around to the right, and I'm able to get over. Well, that pissed him off. So now we're going down I-20. He is riding my butt. And I'm like, seriously, dude? Well, Aaron, I come up on another truck in front of me that's got it's got a water heater standing in the bed of the truck, not even tied down. This dude's going down I-20 with a water heater just standing in the back of his truck. Well, obviously, the roads being the way they are, it started bouncing, and I was able to get over very quickly as that water heater tumbled out of the truck. And the guy was on my butt, and it just smashed right into his car, his truck.
Karma time.
And I just waved. Said, there you go.
I need some karma today because
so you had an experience yesterday.
I did, and I'm okay. I got a little stiff neck today, but that's to be expected because I'm old. But I'm in the left lane going home, eastbound on I-20. Right there near the Greenwood Lakeshore area, kind of where it curves to the right. And in the right lane, the middle lane, there's a car beside me.
I'm trying to figure out where you are.
Headed east. There's the Greenwood Road exit where you're going to the post office. And then right in that area, there's the Cross Lake area. Anyway.
Over by Willis Knight in that area.
Yeah, in that area.
I'm thinking way out west, and I'm like,
no, up in the middle of town.
Okay, now I got you.
And there's a car in the middle lane, and there's what looked to be a pickup behind it. I couldn't see the pickup, really. It's in my periphery. And I'm in the middle lane, and then all of a sudden, the pickup catches up with me and starts coming over like it's going to pass the car that was beside me and doesn't realize I'm there. I'm in his blind spot, I guess. And I'm thinking, okay, he's going to realize I'm here, and I'm hitting my horn, and he doesn't realize. And he keeps coming. And so I drift over toward the concrete wall thinking, dude, stop. And he keeps coming. And then, boom, he slams into the side of my car. I tried to, steer it back away from the wall. I surely don't want to hit the wall, so I'm damaging both sides of my car. And then he kind of moves back over. After he hits me, he moves back over. And he gets back in the middle lane, and he starts to move over to the right like he's going to pull over and stop, and we're going to call the cops. And then he speeds away. I got ticked. I'm like, oh, hell to the no. Followed him into Bossier. We got his plate number. We know who you are. They're coming for you.
You called 911.
Oh, 911. They got on it. So I'm okay, but my car is messed up, man. And Bentleys cost a lot of money to fix.
That dude, and that's what happened. He saw it was a Bentley. He didn't want to pay for it, and he scooted. Mike and Mark Mangum, Twin Blends, coming up after the news. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Mike and McCarty, this is one of my favorite things. Between you guys and Ernie Robertson coming in, because I love Shreveport history. I just love it. Yep. I love the buildings and the architecture. It breaks my heart when I drive through and see these things that are gone.
Yep.
And or things like Pano Steiner. I was just down there doing a story about Bonnie and Clyde being in town, and it's like rotting away. Although they did gut it, and I think they're redoing something. But
it looks like something.
We've lost Mike and Mark Mangum, Twin Blends, Northwest Louisiana History Hunters in studios. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having us again.
So what happened to the shoulder here? You playing baseball?
That years of baseball, but they removed 2 bone spurs and had to put some stitches in my rotator cuff, I guess. So.
We got a lot of 100-year anniversaries seemingly coming up. And
not
you
us.
guys
We're not 100.
No.
Yeah, we got
Maybe you might.
well, between us.
in town. And you guys are working on some projects. Tell us what's going on.
Oh, gosh, where do we start? Okay, I got to read this because this is kind of long on this. We're working with Chris Coe. He is the president of the American Institute of Architects here in Shreveport, and they're celebrating their 100th anniversary with an exhibit at Centenary College Museum that runs August 30th through November the 26th, and it's showing the importance of the past architecture in our city, like N.S. Allen, major architect in the city back in the day. We're going to be supplying them with blends from the LSUS archives.
Old pictures.
I'm sorry, and then blends. They're going to have some blends hanging up, too, as well, so kind of show what Shreveport used to have and what they don't have now. So
and August 30th.
It's August 30th to November the 26th. Yes.
And the Strand Theater is coming up on its 100th anniversary.
Yep. Working with them. Chris Coe was with them also, and we're working with them on getting the old pictures of the Strand, of course, from the Northwest Louisiana Archives at LSUS.
Yeah,
so.
back when it was built and stuff like that. So,
I think the last movie that I actually saw in the Strand. No, it was The Legend of Boggy Creek.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man. Wow.
That's going back a long way.
I know.
That's a minute.
Yeah.
No kidding.
The 70s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Are there existing pictures of the Strand from when it was built? I mean, we do have all that.
We have
it on our Facebook page, too.
As they're building
it.
Oh, my goodness. And do we have the renovation pictures from where it was 20 years ago or anything?
Yeah, we've got pictures from the 20s, 30s, all the way up to today. And you can see when they had a big Strand sign that hung vertically up and down and just different marquees and stuff. And it looked pretty much the same, but it was more elaborate. It seems like on the outside, it had like that, what did they have, that big sign on the front that said
Marquee?
Marquee. It had a big sign anyway. It was a little bit different, and of course the cars and stuff around the Model Ts.
Sure.
So it looked different back then. So
And that was the Sanger family,
the
right?
Sanger family, yes.
That built the Strand,
yes.
which was fascinating to me.
The Sanger, of course, famous in New Orleans.
In New Orleans, the Sanger Theater.
Exactly.
Yeah, same family.
And y'all are working on other 100-year anniversaries as well?
The Broadmoor 100-year anniversary celebration is coming up in October. Lori O'Connor got with us, and we're going to be working with her with old pictures. We've already got a presentation because it was supposed to be a couple of months ago, but then we had a big storm come through.
Yeah, and they postponed
it was going to be at AC Steer, and it got rained out, so they rescheduled it to October. But we've got pictures, and we're having a little presentation that we're doing of that. Mm-hmm. We got a lot of old pictures of Broadmoor.
And we say things like, it was at AC Steer. and we don't even think about. A.C. Steer was a man.
He was.
That lived in Shreveport and was very influential.
Yes.
Uri Drive is named after
Peter Uri,
an actual Shreveport citizen.
Yes.
Is it true that A.C. Steer's daughters were Betty and Virginia, and that's how the park's named for his daughters?
I think that's what somebody said.
I heard that.
Actually, was it the Goldstein?
Don't remember.
I forget. Anyway, that could
You're
be
no
true.
help at all this time.
Somebody's
No help
really
this morning. My arm hurts.
He's here for emotional
My arm
support.
hurts.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
He's milking it good. I
I'll
love
tell you
it.
what, Daniel Garner would know. Our buddy Daniel Garner,
Yeah.
he knows everything. So he would.
Okay.
We'll have to ask Daniel. Yeah.
Now, we ran into, we talked to Faith Jenkins yesterday, who's an Oxygen TV host, who's from here, Bird High graduate, and they're coming up on their 100th anniversary next year,
Yep.
Bird
Yeah,
High.
Bird, yeah.
I'm sure y'all will be doing some work with them as they start celebrating.
Yeah, they haven't reached out to us yet, but we have a lot of photos of Bird High School and Shreveport High School that was the predecessor to Bird High School. We've got old pictures of that.
If you've never seen pictures of Shreveport High School,
Wait. There was a school called Shreveport High School?
Oh my
Yes.
gosh, you've never
Yes.
seen that?
No.
oh, you got to go on our Facebook page and type.
It's like a castle.
Go to Facebook and search Twin Blends Shreveport High School. You'll be amazed.
And was it at the site of the existing Bird
No,
High?
it's at the site of the Shreveport City Jail right now.
Oh.
And C.E. Bird was the first principal. And that's whenever they built C.E. Bird, that's why they named C.E.
See?
Bird.
I love that kind of stuff.
Now, what was the mascot of the Shreveport High School?
I think, I'm not sure.
Gators?
I was coming up
Alligators?
with
I don't
something
know.
I can't think. I was going to be funny, but I
That's
can't.
I
crazy.
don't know, but that building, I'm telling you, it looks like a castle. It's beautiful. You got to look it up.
Oh, I will
You gotta look it
definitely.
up.
And when did it shut down? When do we know?
Yeah, right before C.E. Bird was built, I think in 23, 24, I may be wrong,
Somewhere
but
around
right
there,
around
yeah.
in there, yeah.
Yeah, because Bird, the 100th birthday next year, so
Exactly.
it's got to be.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the
That's incredible.
Northwest Louisiana Archives has all the yearbooks just about from Shreveport High School, don't they?
They've got a class ring. Steve Smith is a historian here in town. He has a class ring from Shreveport High School. He has the clock that was in the gymnasium, I
Yeah, I
think.
think so.
At the thing. It's
That's
awesome.
all at the Louisiana Archives.
It's all at the Northwest Louisiana
it's
Archives.
Fascinating.
Which is out at LSUS?
Yes.
Oh,
Third,
really?
third
it's
floor,
amazing.
yes.
Can anybody go in
Yeah,
there?
that was.
Not you. They won't let you up there, but anybody else can go.
Anybody else?
Yeah, anybody but Aaron McCarty. You have to make an appointment. You have to make an
You
appointment.
do have to make an appointment after
And you can
COVID,
just
though.
go through and can you snap pictures of the stuff
Yes,
and all
yes.
that?
Well, I hope so. That's what we did.
Yeah. Well, now we have to fill out a bunch of paperwork to
Yeah,
do that. and
yeah.
all
To
that
use those
it.
photos, yeah.
We have to fill out.
Yeah, but
Now, I called out there one time though, and they were very gracious.
they're great.
they're
They're
Oh,
They've
it
been
just
great.
couldn't have
There
been
wouldn't
nicer.
be a Twin Blends without them. They've been so helpful. They've been so helpful. It's
But I
great.
bet you could stay there for a whole day and just get lost.
we have.
They have
we have
1.5 million, but photographs, negatives, documents, and stuff, and we'll never be able to go through everything.
But we trying.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Can you guys hang with us?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, because I want to ask you how to search this because I can't find it. Mark and Mike Mangum,
your heart.
Twin Blends, Northwest
Bless your
Louisiana.
heart.
You just
See what we have to deal
1017
with?
FM 710 Keel.
Back to the show with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 Keel.
.101.7 FM 710 Keel. Mike is fanboying. What are you doing down there?
I'm getting GeekCon tickets.
Oh, okay. You're good.
I've had people.
Okay. It's going to be a fun. It opens at 5 today and runs all through Sunday. It's going to be a great event.
First time I ever met Mike and Mark Mangum, Twin Blends. Photography at the time was at an art walk Wednesday night downtown. They had a table set up, and I was looking at those blended photographs.
Oh, they're amazing.
And I thought, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yes.
And one that I still remember was the Shreveport police officer on a motorcycle on Texas Street Bridge shaking hands with a Shreveport police officer on a motorcycle from like 1936. I don't know. What was
That was
it? Was
55, 1955.
That's
We
what I
didn't know
said,
who-
55.
We didn't know who the police
You
officer
just heard me
is.
wrong.
We didn't know who he was at the time, and then we had his son contact us.
Oh,
Robert
that-
Drake his son. It was Bob Drake and his son Robert contacted us and told us that was his dad. And it was
great.
really cool.
And then they sued you for using the picture without permission, right?
I got a text from a local retired judge who says Centenary is turning 200 next year.
Yeah.
That's unreal.
So they shouldn't be called Centenary anymore.
Yeah.
That's 100. So what's 200? Doublenary?
Doublenary? I don't know. And y'all are going to do some more of your walks, right?
Yes.
Yes,
our
when it gets
tours,
cooler, when it
we
gets
did one
cooler.
last week for the Centenary students. As a matter of fact, there was 25 of them that showed up.
We met for breakfast at the Glass Hat.
Yep.
Then we walked up and down Texas, and with our pictures back in the day that we found at the Louisiana Archives, laminated, and we walked up and down Texas Street and ended up at Rhino Coffee. So.
Yep. And Professor Tom Moran contacted us, and we're friends with, and he wanted to do a tour with them. And so we talked about the history of Shreveport and the old buildings and stuff. It was really good walk.
Yeah, those kids were very respectful, too.
Yep. Was impressed.
Yeah.
We were
They had some
impressed.
Centenary baseball players, basketball players, the girls' basketball, I think, and then some students.
Do you have pictures of the old Inn Hotel downtown?
Yes.
Yeah, because that's where Frank Hamer stayed.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Frank
Man, he's
Hamer.
just on a roll here with Bonnie and Clyde.
I know. But they were here at the Inn Hotel.
Yep.
And Ernie tells a story about the tunnel that ran from the Inn to the Strand.
That's what they say. Yeah.
And there was a door in the men's restroom. You could slip out that door, go through the tunnel, and go into the bar at the Inn Hotel.
Yeah, the Inn Hotel used to be located Milam to the right of the Selbers building.
Yes.
So
it was just a block away
beautiful
from
building.
the
Is that where
Strand.
Gold Rings is?
Yeah, the Gold Rings building. Actually, the Gold Rings building, the Inn Hotel is still there half because the Gold Rings building is the first floor of the Inn Hotel, which they just remodeled around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still, they lost a lot of the aesthetics.
They did.
All of the aesthetics.
All of it,
yes.
Y'all did a post, which I found intriguing. I'm not sure how long ago, about the putt-putt that was out on Mansfield Road.
Yes. Yeah, we went to that one.
Putt golf and games.
That was a big deal.
It was huge.
How old was that, and when did that shut down? Do y'all have the history on it?
It wasn't real old. I think it was built probably, I may be lying, but maybe in the late 70s. And then, it was here. I know in the late 80s, early 90s. Because I remember riding the go-karts in 93. Yeah.
Because they had go-karts out there, too.
They had go-karts, a go-kart
that
track.
you weren't supposed to bump, but we played Demolition Derby and we always got in trouble.
The softball
we probably got
cages.
banned from there. So.
And y'all had pretty good pictures of that. Those were really neat.
Yeah, good video. It was actually an advertisement of the putt-putt golf and games, and it showed inside, and it showed.
I remember that.
Yeah. And the girl in the the go-karts, she commented that was her, and everybody was commenting, "Hey, there you are," and she's like, "Yep."
If one of you guys gets banned from someplace, you're both banned.
Oh, exactly.
Aren't you?
Let me tell you, we're playing basketball when we were little. Mark had 3 fouls and I had 2, and they fouled me out because they gave me all the fouls.
And then I got a technical for trying to tell the coach that it was 2 of us, and they were giving me. I got a technical.
Oh man,
for arguing with him.
I was just explaining.
Well, he got thrown out of the next game. They said you couldn't play the next game. So Mark was out of town. And I was out of town, so Mark played in my spot, and so they never knew. He played anyway.
What's the biggest surprise y'all have found in the last 6 months that you're like, wow, this is so cool? We just ran into that.
I guess you asking us this question is the biggest surprise that we run into.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for the heads up on that question. I guess, would it be the streetcar tracks?
Yeah, the streetcar tracks. Somebody notified there were streetcar tracks on Southern Avenue, and then when it was Southern Avenue at Ockley Street, and we went down and did a challenge, Twin Blues challenge for people to take selfies, and then right around the corner from there on Boulevard, somebody said, well, there's an exposed track in the median in the flower bed and stuff, so went over there and we're like, oh my gosh, there's a streetcar track right there, and then we measured out 4.8 feet, and then there was the other track.
And we dug down and found the other track.
Where did streetcars go in Shreveport?
They went away.
That's where they went away.
I'm not a blonde, okay? My apologies. When did we have streetcars, and did they go all over town?
We had streetcars before New Orleans did. We had the first streetcars in Louisiana. Yes. 1890s was the first streetcar, and we got pictures of all this.
Yeah, she obviously don't follow our page because we made posts on all this.
In 1939, the streetcars went out of service. And
you charged 99 cents.
Yeah. In 1939, the streetcars went out of service, and the trolleys, which they call the electric trolleys, they replaced them. Thank you. And we got a picture of in the middle of Market Street of the drivers of the streetcar and the driver of the trolley shaking hands on the last day. You know, it's a really cool story.
Oh, that's cool.
There's streetcar tracks all over Shreveport. Underneath the streets.
Under the streets.
Yeah.
We paved over them rather than take them out.
Uri Drive. Our friend Russell Hines the other day, they were filling up a pothole on Uri Drive, and he ran over and took a picture, and you could see old bricks. And he said, look, there's old bricks under Uri. We said, not only that, there's streetcar tracks there too as well.
It ran from Centenary Drug to
Broadmoor Drug.
Yep,
right there.
And then all up and down downtown.
Intriguing. So. Very intriguing.
I could go all morning.
I know. I love you guys. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. I guess you're kicking us out now, huh?
Yeah, we got to kick you out. Yeah, we got to kick you out.
That's great.
Will y'all come back soon?
Yes.
Before you do your next walking tour, I want you to come back.
We will.
Definitely.
And I'm retiring in November, and so after November, I'll be free to do it anytime I want to.
Oh, sweet. Cool.
Not retiring from Twin Blends, though.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I gave y'all an assignment, so I want y'all to work on that for me.
We'll do it.
I love it.
For 99 cents, we'll do it.
So y'all are the same age. Why aren't you retiring then?
No comment.
We'll tell you.
He knew I was going to ask. He said,
I saw Mike's eyes light up, and I'm like shaking my head.
Shut up.
No, don't say.
Mike and Mark Mangum, Twin Blends, Northwest Louisiana History Hunters. Check them out on Facebook. You are absolutely going to love it. 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
More breaking news and trending talk with Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Okay, I found the pictures of the old Shreveport High School on Twin Blends, Northwest Louisiana History Hunters. That's amazing. Those buildings, Aaron, they used to build buildings to where they were more than just functional.
Oh, absolutely.
They were incredible. The architecture.
How we let that get torn down is what I'm mystified by.
Well, but that's a long list.
It looks like a castle.
Yeah.
It really does.
That's a long list.
I'm amazed at how we let that happen.
Those guys are always so much fun. I stopped by Ernie Robertson. You know, he's got a booth at Timeline Antiques. I say a booth. He's got like a whole room.
Oh, yeah.
Full of books and yearbooks and cards and memorabilia and Shreveport history. And Ernie's forgotten more about Shreveport than I'll ever know.
Oh, you bet.
And I love. I just sat in there and of course pulled out. I found one of my old Northwood yearbooks right there on the shelf.
Oh my gosh!
I told him. I said, "Look, see here. I told you. I weighed like 150 pounds. I'm on the track. I'm fixing to start a race.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. I love
and about 8 pounds of hair.
Oh gosh,
because it was 1978. You know,
oh, absolutely. I love how many people in this town now finally do embrace the history. And we do have the archives. We do have people like the Mangums and others, and Ernie and others that are so into making sure we preserve our history and we don't tear down these buildings. Because let's think about the state building right now. They are working actively to make sure we preserve that building and we don't tear it down and use it for something that could benefit our community. And that's happening all over town. And I like that. I mean, to think back to, and we got to put a picture of that castle on our Facebook page at some point, but to think that we tore that down, a wrecking ball tore that thing down, and now the city jail sits there. I'm like, wow. I know it's not appropriate for a jail, and you wanted to use the property for that, but it's sad.
Yes.
It's just sad. I understand that.
And like Liz,
beautiful.
our friend Liz Swain has said, you know, nobody wants to come in downtown and go, look at our parking lot.
No.
You know.
Isn't this a beautiful parking garage? Don't you love it?
I'm glad they saved Central Fire Station, you know, and have repurposed that.
Get Shracks in there now.
Yes.
So cool. And it's a beautiful building.
We need to do that for every building from now on. No other building needs to be torn down.
Find another purpose. Yes. Find another purpose. Yeah. Find another user who will use it like it exists to keep the history. Because they don't build like that anymore. They just don't.
No, not at all.
Not even close.
Like we were talking about the Inn Hotel. It's the like Selber's now, and it's just yellow brick straight across. No, nothing.
No eye appeal
just a
at
block.
all. Yeah.
I mean, just Yeah.
Real sad. Real sad. Going to talk GeekCon when we come back.
Mike and McCarty, 1017 FM, 710keel.com.
Back to the big stories of the day with Mike and McCarty on 1017 FM and 710 KEEL.
Everybody is gearing up today. I got a chance to go to the meet and greet last night for the screening of E.T. And met Henry Thomas and Dee Wallace, who could not have been lovelier. So nice, so gracious. Henry was almost, he's kind of shy.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Dee she just took control. She was hilarious.
Stars of the movie E.T. That is just amazing.
And it's funny because when they were kind of first, mingling around and we talked and my wife goes, "Who is she?" I said,
"Oh,
that's the mom." And she goes, "Are you kidding? She looks amazing."
She does. That movie's 40 years old,
It's
isn't it?
Unbelievable. Close to it, yeah.
That's unreal. Unreal.
And they're going to be at GeekCon.
Yes.
And they're going to be signing autographs and taking pics.
Oh.
And that's a small portion, Aaron. Unbelievable. And I love that they're doing the Sports Card Expo.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm going to be with Todd Walker this afternoon.
Nice.
And I know Todd and the family. Just a beautiful, wonderful family. His wife, by the way, Katie, grew up across the street from me.
Really?
Her little brother was good friends with my son.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
That's really cool. There's going to be a lot of sports card enthusiasts because we have a new sports card area this year.
Yes.
So people are going to be trading cards, selling them, buying them. It's going to be a big deal.
Lilly going to be here. Willie Rofe.
Yes.
Todd Walker. I mean, it's exciting.
Jacob Hester's going to be there.
Yes.
You're going to get to meet, shake hands, get an autograph signed. I mean, it's going to be amazing. And there's some little guy that's going to be there too, Billy Zane from some stupid movie where he was the bad guy. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, but he looked good.
Wow.
He did look good. That's terrible. I just didn't like him in the Titanic. I thought he was mean to Rose. I didn't like that. And you know what Greg Adams told me? Rose was the bad guy in Titanic.
That's
Rose was the evil one.
He's not wrong. He's not right, but he's also not wrong.
I don't know. What's your perspective when you're saying that Rose is the villain in Titanic?
I mean, she cheated on her fiance. She strung along old Leo, strung along young Leo, and then
couldn't make room for him on the big door.
Yeah, at the end, just let him sink. He
just
sunk like a rock.
To him. Just hang on. Look.
After saying, "I'll never let go," she let go and let him sink.
Oh, yeah.
Well, okay.
Maybe she is a bad guy.
I see it, Greg. All right.
I got the point. But Billy Zane was in lots of other things, and for me to
like
think of
Tombstone.
him, yeah. But for me to think of him as such a villain in Titanic means he's a great actor. He did a good job.
It's funny because somebody wrote on the Shreveport Security Systems message board, Aaron, if you hate him, then that means he did a great job.
Yes, absolutely. John C. McGinley. Is he in Scrubs?
Yes.
Oh.
And Office Space.
One of my all-time favorite movies, Office Space.
He was Bobs.
He was one of the Bobs. Yeah, he was the tall Bob.
Oh, my God.
I celebrate his entire category, his entire catalog.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is GeekCon is one of those things. We do it every year. Greg does an amazing job putting it together, getting the transportation in and out of town for all these celebrities, getting the place booked, getting the vendors in and out. I mean, they work so hard. We do hope you'll come down and see us. You'll be able to find us wandering around or sitting with some of the celebrities. Opening today, 5 o'clock. And then open all day Saturday and then on Sunday as well.
Yes, indeed. It's going to be a long weekend.
It is going to be a long weekend.
It's on Saturday, I will be sitting with Josh Martin, a local from Houghton voice actor.
He's been down there this morning, yeah.
That's right, yeah. And then I have to go play a show. A 2-hour show at Tiki Bar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, Opas Muerta will be at Tiki Bar playing a 2-hour show. And then I got to come back on Sunday and sit with Francois Petit, the guy who played Sub-Zero in the Mortal Kombat movie.
Oh, my goodness.
So it's going to be a long one.
I'm going to be with Annabeth Gish.
Nice.
Oh, very nice.
Sunday.
Very nice.
On Sunday. She's actually Lillian Gish. I think it's her granddaughter.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know.
Wow.
How cool is that? That's Hollywood royalty.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
talk about the stories you'll get to hear.
I know.
Oh, my God. Because, the nice thing about these folks is they're just regular folks.
For the most part,
You know, and you can chat with them and talk about their moms and their dads and where they live and where they grew up. And most of them are so sweet.
The first thing-
Occasionally, we have a few that are nut jobs.
Annabeth was in Mystic Pizza back in the 80s with Julia Roberts.
It was a big, big breakout movie for
my
Julia
gosh,
Roberts. Her
yeah.
big one. That's absolutely going to be fun. Get your tickets today for the whole weekend so you don't have to worry about waiting in line. But come out and
Because there
see
will
us.
be a line.
Oh,
There's
there will be a
always a
line.
line.
Yes.
Absolutely.
No matter-
Today's the secret.
Yeah, no matter how much we seem to just nail down how do we make the line, it's always a line.
Yes. People love GeekCon. It's
They
a big
love it.
deal. Big deal.
We're looking forward and holler at us if you come by. Find out where we are. And if you're listening, it's always great to have somebody say, hey, we listen to you guys.
Oh, I love it.
I
Absolutely
do too.
love it.
I do too. So hopefully we'll see you this weekend. Mike and McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, and on the free KEEL app.
Of Mike and McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
So we get to kind of hang with the stars. What is, other than Faith Jenkins, which you haven't met, I don't think.
No, I have not.
But that you got an opportunity to actually meet.
Ooh.
What is one that just sticks out in your mind? And I didn't ask you this prior, so this is cold.
I've had so many over the years, not necessarily at GeekCon, but
No, just in general. I mean, because
the biggest probably was Baryshnikov. That was a pretty biggie.
Was he at the Strand one year?
I'm not sure where. He came into town. I met him at the airport. The other one is Paul McCartney. That was,
Oh wow!
I met him in New Orleans. He was there for Jazz Fest.
Remember that time you played with China? Yeah, that was awesome.
That was a pretty big one. I've had a few great ones.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift was kind of cool. That was kind of a neat deal. But, she meets a lot of people. She's very generous with her time.
And, and that's like even last night, talking with Henry Thomas and Dee Wallace, that is a wisp of time for them. Mm-hmm. What are you going to say?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I think you're great.
Right, exactly.
I was going to say, I'm blank. My Nuriva hasn't kicked in yet.
Oh, it hasn't?
No.
Okay. You need to work on that one.
I absolutely do.
Now, back in the Hollywood South days, I met Tim Blake Nelson on the set of Leaves of Grass.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. He walked up to me, and, we shook hands and talked. He's the littlest dude. And I'm short, and he was shorter than me. So we shook hands, and he said, that's great. That's great. You're a local guy. You like fishing? I was like, I go fishing sometimes. He's like, good. You're going to be my Zebco billboard. And he slapped a Zebco T-shirt on me and made me walk by the camera 100 times.
Wow.
Product placement.
Yep, out at the Shreveport Airport.
I got to read with him.
Nice.
I auditioned for that movie, and he actually read with him. And he's like, Martindale, are you related to Margot Martindale?
I'll be darned.
And I said, Aunt Margot?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And Uncle Wink. Uncle Wink, too,
Will
right?
Get me a part? Yeah. No, when I remember what I was going to say. When Taylor Swift was here, I was still with the Bossier Police. And we worked a lot of undercover. And I actually worked undercover people selling bootleg merchandise.
Oh, cool.
Out in the parking lot.
Really?
Because that takes thousands of dollars out of these stars' pockets.
Definitely. They got to sell those T-shirts for $50. I know.
Yeah. Hard to have sympathy, but, come on. That's part of their revenue.
I know. When you go up to buy a T-shirt and they go, that'll be $57.50.
Yeah.
What?
It's a T-shirt. And it's a promo weight T-shirt for crying out loud.
Exactly. But, part of the deal. They got to make their money.
Right.
That's how it works.
I'm going to be hanging with Todd Walker, and I'm looking forward to that. I know Todd in the family, and so I'm looking forward to just hanging out with him.
That's going to be fun.
Today and tomorrow. And Annabeth Gish.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be
Sunday.
an absolutely amazing weekend, and we are going to come in Monday sounding like crap.
Yeah.
Okay, we have an excuse then. Good, I like that. I like
We're
that.
already tired. Yeah.
Exactly.
Hope to see you at GeekCon,
You bet.
101.7 FM, 710 Keel.